Alrighty, folks, we are back once again with another deck profile for Six Samurais. Where this one is going full on, balls to the wall, FTK, no messing around. You're gonna roll those dice. You're either gonna get the FTK or you're gonna lose. That's pretty much how the deck plays out. I can go ahead and go into a couple of the weaknesses, or a couple of the strengths and weaknesses, maybe. By far, the biggest strength that this deck possesses right now is you win on the first turn. The opponent doesn't even get to play the game. You're trying to win. Is that not the best way to win? As far as strategy is concerned, maybe not. You feel the best way, because I mean, I'll be honest. I'm getting really bored with this at my locals anyway. But as far as strategy, if you're trying to win, what's the most efficient way to win? Well, your opponent doesn't get to play the game. So that's the huge upside of the deck. It's got a lot of draw power, a lot of search power. The weaknesses of the deck can be summed up in three ways. First and foremost, Nibiru just crushes combo decks. It's not going to go anywhere. They're never going to touch it on a ban list because of decks like this. You gotta have a way to keep these decks in check. Nibiru is probably the #1 way to do that. Number 2, Infinite Impermanence, especially with Red Reboot going to 1. You really don't have an out to it anymore. Now, granted, I never played an out to it because Infinite Impermanence, it was so rare at my locals, I just never really worried about it. But yeah, Infinite Impermanence will stop you dead. There are ways to play around it, though, because it's just like any other hand trap. It only negates it, and then you can kind of, if you've got extenders in your hand, you can play around it. But, generally speaking, you don't have a way around Infinite Impermanence anymore with Red Reboot going to 1. It's just not likely that you're going to get it. Also, and I could be wrong about this, maybe this is just my lack of skill at the game, but, Psy-Frame decks. Psy-Frame decks seem to be a just general hard counter to the Six Samurai combo deck. I could be wrong about that. Maybe I'm just playing it inappropriately. Maybe I'm just not as good at the game as as some of the other people who know what to do against it. But just from my experience, I've been playing Six Samurai for about a year now, since coming back into the game. Psy-Frames, there doesn't seem to be any way I can play against them. I can't seem to side against them. I can't seem to do anything. If it is a combo deck, Psy-Frames are like specifically designed to counter it. Anyway, that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. So we have our first, I'm just going to put the first 9 out. 3 copies of Mizuho, 3 copies of Shanai, 3 copies of Kizan. You know the drill by now. If red or blue is on the board, you can special summon the other one, and if any other Six Samurai is on the board, you can special summon this one. This is 9 potential special summons right here. I guess 8 technically, because you have to have one of them on the board first to begin with. So, but yeah, 8 potential special summons right here. Tell me that's not good. Tell me you don't want that, especially if we're just trying to just vomit up the extra deck. So, simple enough. You want those guys down there. They're really, really easy special summons. Next one we have Sheehan Squire. We're running a Sheehan Squire in the deck. Not even really so much for the Naturia Beast anymore, but because he is a Sheehan effect monster. And it's kinda, sorta, maybe just a little bit something you can do against Nibiru. If you've got 6 spell counters on a gateway, and a gateway on the, or 6 Bushido counters and a gateway on the board, you can res him from the graveyard because he's a Sheehan effect monster. Amazoness Archer, this is what the deck relies upon. You've only got 1 way to search it out, and 1 way to special summon it, which is, the searching is Rhoda, and then the special summon is Saryuja, but you have so much draw power that we're going to get to anyway. Pretty much, if I go first, I can literally draw the entire deck. Getting it is not a problem. We play 1 Kizaru. We are only playing 1 of them because it's like I've said in previous videos, I just tend to recycle the same one over and over and over again, so we don't need more than 1. Fuma, He's level 1, so you can. So if you play Dojo and you only have one samurai in your hand, you can still make a combo. That's pretty much it with him. We're not really using him for the tuner effect anymore. We're not using him for his floating, or what do they call it? It's floating, right? You summon him, yeah. I'm still such a noob. I don't know all the terminology, the way it's supposed to be done. Anyway, his graveyard effect is pretty handy because you'll go into Kizaru off of him, but generally speaking, he's in there because he's level 1, and if you got Shien's Dojo and 1 6 Samurai in your hand, you can still do combos. Hatsume, she's a hard once per turn monster reborn. That's the only reason why we're running 1. If she was soft once per turn, we'd be running 3. Grandmaster of the 6 Samurai. He is another special summon, and he is a different name than Kizan. That's the only reason why we have him. So between the 3 reds, 3 blues, 3 Kizans, and this, you've essentially got 9 potential special summonable monsters out of your deck. So that's pretty much all we're looking for with that. We're bringing the Kagekis back in, just because we want as many opportunities to create the combo as possible. I still don't like Kageki in term, I still prefer getting red and blue over Kagekis, but it allows you another special summon, so it's that higher risk, high reward, but it's, and I'll admit my fault on this. It's generally been very worth it to run these guys instead of not having them. I've noticed better win rates running these in the deck as opposed to not having them. Alright, so that's our monster lineup. It's pretty bog standard. I mean, nothing's really changed. Spells have changed a little bit. 3 smoke signals, so you can search. We're doing 3 6 Samurai United. The reason we're doing 3 6 Samurai United is because we want the Bushido counters. We don't really care about the draw effects. I mean, those are nice, but we really, really, really want to have the draw power, or the Bushido counter generation. So if you've got a gateway, and then you got this, and you can special summon something else, like say you've got the Battle Shogun out, and you've got the gateway out, and you've got 2 counters on this, and you've got something in your hand you can special summon, well boom, now you've got 2 on gateway, 2 on, and then you have 2 on this, and you can start going into your combos and stuff. So, I finally got a 3rd dojo, so that's awesome, and it's the fancy pants one. But again, 3 dojos, their primary purpose is that there is no cap to the Bushido counters you can generate on these. 6 Samurai United, you can do max 2. Dojo, you can throw on as many as you want. As many as you can possibly get. And it helps you special summon, which can potentially let you extend your combo further. Gateway is the principal. Aside from, if Amazoness Archer is the main monster card, this is the main spell card. Simple as that. You should know it. If you've seen the other deck profiles I've done, or heck, any other 6 Samurai deck profile, you should know what this card does. It generates 2 counters per summon of 6 Samurai. You use 4 of those counters, and you search out a 6 Samurai from either the deck or the graveyard, and then you just, and because so many of them are so easy to special summon, you just keep flooding the field, flooding counters, and you just keep generating advantage. And I'll say it again, it needs to be at 1. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think 6 Samurai would be way too busted, way too unfair if they had access to 3 of them. Not that I wouldn't mind seeing it. Rhoda, it's your search, but more importantly, it's your search for Amazoness Archer. But other than that, aside from Grandmaster, it searches every monster you have in your deck. Broken Bamboo, Cursed Bamboo, Golden Bamboo. It's draw power. So that's all it is. And then the 2 equip cards, the 2 different named equip cards, combined with Living Fossil and Divine Sword Phoenix Blade. Those are your assault targets. Now, I will say this. You pretty much almost always do not want to see any of these cards in your opening hand. Golden Bamboo, maybe. But the times I've gone first and I've lost are because I've had Divine Sword Phoenix Blade and maybe 1 other equip, or Divine Sword Phoenix Blade And another card I'll be revealing, or I'm going to show you later. Actually, I think it's next. Yeah. You want these in the deck, you don't want them in your hand on the first turn. As simple as that. If they're in your hand, it cuts it from like 100% getting the combo off to like 50%. Because it can really screw you up. That's why we run so few of them. We want to have just enough to make either a level 4 special summon with Assault or a level 3 special summon with Assault. We run 2 Dark Rulers no more. Ideal, and I know this is supposed to be a, you know, like I said, balls to the wall FTK deck. You're not always going to get the die roll in the first of the 3 rounds. This, it at least helps you be able to fight back on that if you go second on the first round. It's not a guarantee. It's like I said, it's helpful, but it's not a 100% you can come back. There's been times where I've been able to come back. There's been times where I haven't been able to come back with Dark Ruler no more. It all kind of... Going second is really not good for the deck, is the simplest way I can put it. But this can help you deal with that, and I'll probably flesh out my thoughts more when I add the little blurbs on the screen. And then your final main deck cards, 3 Called by the Graves. We took out the hand traps. We're not worried about the hand traps anymore. We're worried about counter hand traps right now. So we're doing 3 Called by the Graves, which, funny enough, the 2 hand traps you're really, really worried about in Infinite Impermanence and Nibiru, you can't screw with these. They're unaffected by these. So depending, I still like to main deck them, but depending on how things go, I might take them out and replace them with a couple extra monsters. I might. I don't know yet. But I think it's still better to have them in there, at least as far as right now is concerned. Especially because I don't know about any of y'all, but I've noticed a steep decline in Ash Blossoms and Ghost Ogres and Effect Veilers. But that could just be me. Alright, so that's the main deck. Main deck's off to the side. Let's go into the extra deck. And I'm going to go ahead and put these 5 out just right now. Because they really don't matter. Which is really weird, right? Because we're saying 2 Negates and a Atreya Beast and Mech Knight don't matter. Well, they really don't, because your goal is to just win with the first turn. They're pretty much in there just to be in there. Castell is literally in there because I wanted to fill up the 15th slot. The rest of the cards in the extra deck are what you actually need. This was just pretty much filling up space. Alright, so Shadow of the Six Samurai Shion. He is a Shion effect monster and a Six Samurai monster. So if you can res him with Gateway, boom, you get counters for that. He's a lot better than a lot of people originally gave him credit for, because you're not using him for his effect at all. The only thing you're going to use his effect for is if you use 2 Keyzons to Xyz into him, and you just need to pitch a Keyzon into the graveyard so you can get it back with a Gateway. But aside from that, yeah, it's like I said, he is a 6 Samurai monster and a Shion effect monster, so he kind of double barrels Gateway. Levier is good just for combo extension. You use Divine Sword Phoenix Blade to pitch whatever your target you want into the banish pile, and then you use Levier to resummon it. Usually it's going to be Kizaru. Dugaris! I finally got myself a Dugaris. He's got 2 really, really, really handy effects. His first really handy effect is he's Pot of Greed, essentially. You draw 2, discard 1. That can just help you. That can help you dig into your deck, help you get that Amazoness Archer, or maybe you don't have that Gateway somehow, some way, and you trying to get it. There's a few different really good things. You know, I mean, he's drawing cards. It's good in general. He can also, if I'm correct, if I read this correctly, yeah, he special summons a monster from the graveyard in defense position. So let's just say your Amazoness Archer happened to get in the graveyard somehow. Boom, you bring it back with that, and you can go into, you can still use the effect. It does not say you don't get to use the effects. So, Dugaris, really, really, really good. We play 3 Saryujas. Self-explanatory. Draw 4, you know. You draw 4, and if you got the counters for it, the cards you put back, you'll be able to just search them back out anyway. So 3 Saryujas, that's 12 cards you've drawn right there. Easy peasy. We run 2 Isoldes and 2 Battle Shoguns. The reason we're running 2 instead of 1 is, especially with Isolde, in case one of them, in case they negate your first effect with like Effect Veiler or Ash Blossom or something like that, or and negate its effects just in general, like with Infinite Impermanence or something, and you have the ability to make another one. Well, because she has 2 effects, you can just bait out a negation with the first effect, and then go into the second one if she wouldn't have the ability to use her second effect, and then you can use the second effect. I think I worded that properly. You don't get that same thing with Battle Shogun, but Battle Shogun is another 6 Samurai, so I said screw it, let's just throw another one in there, and he's a lot easier to make than Rihan. So that is the extra deck. Next up is the side deck, and I mean, honestly, the side deck is... it's not really anything special. It's kind of weird how I want to put the side deck. So let me go into it first. So we are doing 3 Ash Blossoms, 3 Ghost Ogres, typical hand traps. If you end up having to go second, you want these in your one of each in your opening hand. Maybe not even one of each. Maybe just 1 Ash Blossom in your opening hand, just to kind of help you out with the going second. We're going to run 2 Elders of the 6 Samurai because, again, if you're going second, likely they're going to have monsters and you won't, and these can special summon themselves if your opponent has a monster and you don't. That's why I use them as a side deck option instead of a main deck option, because, like I said, we're trying to win in the first turn. We're not trying to go on the second turn. So the way it generally works, the way optimally it's going to work, is if you get the first turn and you win, and then obviously they're not going to let you go first next turn. So then you're going to side in the Elders, the Ash Blossom, stuff like that I'll get into. Next we have Great Shogun Xian. It kind of doesn't make any sense to have him in the side deck. He's just in there to basically fill up the numbers, straight up. I mean, it's an FTK deck. You're pretty much rolling the dice with this. Great Shogun Xian, any other opportunity, I would say, yeah, he's great against pendulums, but that's assuming you would only need to side him in, theoretically, on your second turn, and if you're siding him on the second turn, they've probably already set up their board, so it's no real point to have him, but I don't have a better option right now out of my collection. 2 Twin Twisters, again, it's just go second removal. 2 Evenly Matched, it's again go second removal. I got rid of all the Solemns, and I'm trying to get a 3rd copy of Evenly Matched. I don't see it happening anytime soon, but we do Evenly Matched because you can skip to the battle phase, nuke the board, and call it a day. And start with your main phase 2, and hopefully get your Amazon's Archer out. The last 2 cards, it's Abyss Dweller and Barkion. Again, if you're going second, you're probably not going to win anyway, so I just needed something to fill up the side deck with. The side deck is pretty pathetic in this one. It's not really well thought out. It's a lot of, hey, I might... Because, how do I put it? So like I said, the deck wants to go first. You want to get Amazon's Archer on the board. You want to go through Shine Eye and Kizans to just keep cycling them to get your to get your Bushido counter generation. And you just want to keep cycling through, do the infinite loop, and just FTK them right there. Odds are, if you go second, you will lose. Like, the side deck really should be just a completely... How do I put it? It's almost like you're creating a completely different deck with the side deck, essentially. But at the same time, if you remove enough out of the main deck, you'd completely destroy your consistency also. So that is, again, another weakness of the 6 Samurai. They kinda have a bread and butter 40 cards to be competitively viable. And competitively viable in massive air quotes. But, Oh, yeah, and we've got the Primal Being token because we're going to get Nibirued at some point in the day. At some point in the tournament, we're going to get Nibirued. So, you have the Prime Being token. But yeah, this... It's like I said, it's a completely first-turn KO deck. I like it, but I don't like it. It's definitely my most successful deck that I've done the best with. But at the same time, it's also my least successful deck because it's a complete dice roll. There's been locals that I've been running this, and I'll just consistently be able to get the high roll, and I'll choose to go first round, and it'll just go, hey, I win the first round, lose the second round, win the third round. Boom, and I just I keep that going until I start playing the people who have the really expensive stuff that's hard to prepare for. And then there's days like yesterday, the most recent tournament I took this to, where I just consistently got a second turn one, or round one, first round, and then first, it went the opposite. Turn 2, first round, turn 1, second round, turn 2, first round. So that's what I'm saying. It's a dice roll. It's it's a complete classic Joey deck. You know what I mean? Because Joey, the whole thing about his deck was he used a lot of random chance to compensate for his lack of powerful cards, and that's kind of what the 6 Samurai are. Like, I don't have all the crazy Phantasmes. I don't have a lot of the expensive stuff. I do not have, well, I do have the money to get like a high tier Orcus deck or whatever, but I'm not gonna spend it because this is a it's like the abridged says, this is a children's card game. If I can't trade for it, like the Mech Knight in there, I think he's running for like 21 bucks now. I got him for less than 10. And even then, I felt bad paying that much for a piece of cardboard. Anyway, I think the video's gone on long enough. So yeah, I think I might be done trying to do the FTK though, because it's not fun. It really isn't. There's the balance between, is it fun to play and do I win? And I'm definitely winning way more than I've ever won before with this, but at the same time, like, it's just not fun. It's not interactive. Because if they don't have any hand traps, there's especially some of the people who know me and play me often. I just put my hand out and I'm like, look, I can make the combo, and we go right on to turn into round 2. So it works, but it's not fun. So I think on my next deck that I'm going to try with 6 Samurai, I think I'm going to try something a little more interactive, but I guarantee you it will not be nearly as good. Anyway, that's all I have to say on this. I've taken up enough of your time. Take it easy. Y'all have a great day.